G'day, g'day. Thank you for clicking on my video. As you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, it is a reaction video to Dax, who I've never heard of before, but it's featuring Tom MacDonald, who I have heard of before. And the name of the song is Propaganda. Now that title really interests me, so I'm looking forward to it. I know the song dropped a few days ago, but this is the first chance I've had to react to it. Over the weekend, I spent my time marking students' assessments, so this is kind of going to be like a bit of a relaxation for me, a bit of recreation, and an opportunity to listen to what Dax has to say. What? If Dax wrote this, I'm impressed already. If this is his lyrics, what? Our own truth isn't always the reality. Our own truth isn't always the reality. That's very similar to something I repeat to my students almost on a weekly basis. Just because you think of it, it doesn't mean that it's right. We all have a tendency to, because we think of something, we have a tendency to think that it's right just because we thought it. Now, propaganda uses that against us. Because when we hear something and we think we believe it, then because we think we believe it, then we think that it is right. So that's very interesting. Oh, it's like a movie, isn't it?
Good, bro. You ain't picking up calls, dog. What's wrong, man? Daryl, you good?
Ooh. What's that? What?
Hey, Daryl.
Oh, the door's unlocked. The door's unlocked. Oh no, it's like the poltergeist and he's being like zombieized. They're brainwashing him and turning him into a zombie. He's been watching too much TV. Oh. Hey, look.
And all I see is propaganda. Propaganda.
Oh, look.
And all I see is propaganda. Propaganda. And all I see is propaganda. Propaganda. And all I see is propaganda. Yeah, united we stand, divided we fall. New Year's Eve, they
It's interesting. All I see is propaganda, and then he goes into the cafe and all he does is see people looking at their propaganda through their mobile phone, the guy at the start through the TV, using internet technology to give all these people information that, according to the song, is all propaganda. But he's saying, all I see is propaganda, and then he shows people in the cafe and they're seeing with their eyes propaganda, and it always brings me back to King David when he was talking about, I will not set that wicked thing before my eyes. So he's not even going to put that thing before his eyes, so that there is no chance he's going to be brainwashed. He's not going to receive any of that propaganda information. Then he goes on to say, I hate them who have turned aside. Basically saying he hates those who have fallen for this propaganda thing. And then he goes on to say, I will not let it cleave to me. And that's talking about not allowing himself to be brainwashed. And so obviously in the Bible he's talking about a different situation, but we're bringing it into this situation and we're applying it to propaganda. So don't put your TV before your eyes 24 hours a day. Don't put your mobile phones before your eyes 24 hours a day. Don't let it brainwash you. Don't let it cleave to you. Don't let that information have influence on you.
United we stand, divided we fall. New Year's Eve, they've been dropping the ball. Independent, how we dead in the game. don't write to the sound of applause. And the truth, dotted lines ain't never signed, stood and remained the boss. In a world that is full of facades, where if you speak, you get nailed to a cross. I won't be silent, I am outspoken, I am the product of pain. So when you see my name, no fame could never.
Really fast for me. I'm not used to this. It's just really fast. It's hard for me to understand what they're saying. I heard the first part about united we stand, divided we fall. But that's what propaganda is all about, isn't it? And they use different strategies to do that. One I spoke about once before, where they give false dichotomies. There is either one way or the other way. That's it. There's no in between. There's only two sides. You don't have a choice. When they can't win an argument, what do? They attack the person. That's another strategy of propaganda. They try and control people through social media. Look what happened to Nicki Minaj. I only just did a video on her a couple of days ago, and I've already forgotten who she is. She tried to speak out, and they used social media to try and silence her.
We don't write to the sound of applause. And the truth, dotted lines ain't never signed, stood and remained the boss. In a world that is full of facades, where if you speak, you get nailed to a cross. I won't be silent, I am outspoken, I am the product of pain. So when you see my name, no fame could never break down a brain that is already broken. Every wound is a paid devotion. They fill words as I purge emotions, scabs hair as I drop hits that bleed light from demonic omens. The system decides we spend when most of our time is spent in bed. The dreams we have all stay inside. We sleep and wake and live with regret. The price of life is half the cost. The price of fame could cost your head. If infamy is what you seek, and propaganda is all I see is propaganda.
I think there was a couple of things I picked up. I should say I need to listen to more rap, but I'm really worried about what they're going to sing about. So, but there's a few things. For example, talking about truths and lies. Half-truths are the worst. Half-truths are the most dangerous. Half-truths are demonic. They're really demonic because they only use a part of the information. So they would say they're not lying, but spiritually they're lying because they're not giving the whole thing. I'll give an example. Oh, Trump called illegals animals. Well, he did. He did call illegals animals, but the full information is that he called those who were MS-13, who were illegal immigrants, animals. Okay, he was calling MS-13, those who came into the country as illegal immigrants. He called them animals, not illegal immigrants in general. See, so that's propaganda. That's a half-truth, and that's very demonic. The spirit realm, the kingdom of darkness, does that all the time. You know, when you hear something over and over and over and over, like, you know, you hear this thing vaccines over and over and over and over and over and over until you're almost sick of hearing it. That's another strategy of propaganda. So that was a lot in that. He talked about being famous. I could be wrong. I thought he said something about being famous but not being influenced by propaganda. Propaganda also uses your self-esteem, and propaganda also tries to meet your desires. So if the propaganda that you're receiving, or the propaganda that they're trying to give to brainwash you and to get you accept what their story is, they will use things that will lift up your self-esteem. They will use things that will meet the things that you desire.
Seeking propaganda is all I see is propaganda.
I think I might have taken it back a bit too far.
All that everything we say is racist, and blood will change it. That's what happens. Y'all need balance. Y'all need blacks and whites and lefts and rights to stop the madness. They planned it. It's Trump or Biden, we all been divided right in the streets. Elections
I don't know who wrote these lyrics, but I know they just said it's Trump or Biden. Definitely not Trump who's doing it. You know, Trump never planned anything to divide the country of America. I don't know why they didn't just come straight out and say Biden is trying to divide America. I hope they didn't say it's Trump or Biden, because they want to keep their viewers. They don't want to lose Biden viewers. I hope that's not the case, but I wish they were honest and say straight out it's a Biden and the Democrat Party that's trying to divide the US. So interesting.
Blacks and whites and lefts and rights to stop the madness. They planned it. It's Trump or Biden, we all been divided right in the streets. Elections always been rigged. I ain't surprised when somebody cheats. All I see is pentagrams of the propaganda, but our priority's the vaccine. It ain't hard for wolves to find a flock when the sheep are fast asleep. Too many people lack character. Too many journalists scaring you. Too many pencils attempting to rewrite the Constitution. They probably gonna tear it up. I love the country, but I don't trust the people taking care of us. We went to bed with the American dream. We woke up in Nightmerica.
And all I see is propaganda.
But we went to sleep with the American dream, and we woke up in Nightmerica. That's really clever. Because what are nightmares? Nightmares produce fear. Nightmares produce anxiety, sadness. Nightmares produce, what's that word? When you have no hope, hopelessness, despair. So nightmares can cause those things. And that is what is happening in America now. And no, not just America, Australia, especially Australia. But we never had the American dream, but we've had something similar, But people are waking up now, and it's a nightmare. And they are experiencing the results of a nightmare. Some are experiencing anxiety because of the way things are going. Some are experiencing despair because of the way things are going. Some people are experiencing fear because of the way things are going. So yes, people have gone to sleep when life was good, so they say, and they've woken up in a nightmare with these terrible feelings and emotions and fears and anxieties and hopelessness. It's a terrible, terrible situation we're in, but as I say in every video, it's only going to get worse. Propaganda is a very interesting thing. I remember reading about propaganda in a letter from John. I think it was the third letter of John. So this is the letter of John, and it's letter 3, or 3 John verses 9 and 10, and it gives a broad or general understanding of what propaganda is, what propaganda does. A very easy way to identify propaganda in action. So 3 John verse 9, I wrote to the church, but Diotrephes, who loves to have the preeminence among them, wouldn't receive us. And so we see a thing happening there where the guy who's now trying to control the church doesn't want anyone coming in who is going to have influence over the people he wants to control. See, he wouldn't receive the apostles. He wants to control that church, and he can't do it if he lets other people have influence. Could be influence in information. It could be influence in telling them the truth. So that's one of the first things about propaganda. Isolate them. Isolate them from people who can tell them the truth, or just isolate them from the truth. And that's why social media, information is all being filtered and restricted to you only receiving what they want you to receive. John 3 verse 10 goes on, Therefore, when I come, I will remember the things he has been doing, speaking out against us with malicious words. Doesn't propaganda do that? As soon as you begin to try and speak out the truth and you try and expose the propaganda, you're trying to expose the lies, they maliciously attack you. They call you names. They call you racist. They call you bigot. They call you every label they can think of. And they try and, I can't think of the word, they try and bring you down. They try and make you look bad in front of everyone else. They're very malicious. It's a very evil thing that they do. And like I said before, they know exactly what they're doing. Then it goes on, and not content therewith, neither doth he himself receive the brethren, and forbiddeth them that would, and casteth them out of the church. So, not only has he refused to receive the apostles, then it goes on to say that not only has he cut off the apostles, but anyone in the church who speaks up about it, questions it, says anything about it, this guy kicks them out of the church. He kicks them out of the church. And isn't that pretty much what's happening now? You're on Twitter, you say something they don't like, you're banned, you're out of there. YouTube, every platform there is, you say something they don't like, bang, you're out of there. And then they also go back to doing what he was talking about, saying malicious words. They are very malicious towards people towards anyone who speaks up. And like I said, they will call you names. They will try and degrade you. That's not the word I'm trying to think of. Not degrade. They'll try and make people think that you are less than what you are. So that's really interesting. They will try and discredit you. That's the word I was thinking of. Okay, that's the word. So Apostle John and a couple of others went through this propaganda thing, and that's why they're talking about it, or that's why he's talking about it in the third letter that he wrote, 3 John verses 9 and 10. Those who have the truth and want to share the truth, well, you keep the people who you want to control away, right? Keep them away. Separate them. Then attack those people with malicious words and degrade them or belittle them. Discredit them. And then you have those people who are isolated, and that's what you want, because when they're isolated, you can control them. And then anyone who speaks up within that little group, questions anything, well, you kick them out as well, just like they do now on social media, as I just mentioned. And that's pretty much general or broadly propaganda in a nutshell. So that's wonderful.
We went to bed with the American dream. We woke up in America.
And all I see is propaganda.
Just brainwashed zombie. He looks really sad about his friend. His friend has been brainwashed. He's turned into one of those leftist, liberal zombies. What can be done to save him? What can be done to save him? Let me know in the comments. Excellent. I really enjoyed it. It was much better than I thought. And a lot of Bible info came out. So that's fantastic. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like. Don't leave a dislike, because that's naughty. Okay? Leave a comment. Really interested in what you have to say. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I think for the first time I'm saying, hit the notification button. Someone told me to say that, so I'm saying it. Cheers. Have a good day.